All right, coming right off the heels of the last one. My knees are here too. Obligatory knee view. All right, let's go. I don't even know if that made it on camera. I don't even know if it made it into the last one. I'm wearing shorts and knee highs, and I'm only showing knees. And obviously, I'm wearing a t-shirt. Anyway, War Thunder. Is it a video game or is it an ascetic practice? I would say it's the latter. Uh, now I just commented on someone today that was like, I'm sick of this game. I don't want to play it anymore. They got up to like battle rank 6, 7 or something like that, and they quit. And unironically, that's actually a pretty good place to stop moving up. But I like to anyway. If you know War Thunder, you know what I'm talking about. It's I only play tanks. I've never messed with planes. I've never touched naval in my life. I don't intend to. For some reason, I like the tanks. I was getting gas one day. I saw some Sherman that I don't know, the VA or veterans, veterans of foreign wars or something was using as like a set piece next to a school, and I was like, I want to play the tank game. I heard there's a tank game that came up in my feed. This is like 3 years ago, by the way. So I just started playing and, watched too many videos on it, so I thought I had to play as Russia or I wouldn't have a good time. Ended up getting bogged down in the T-34s, hated the game, stopped playing it. Picked it up again like a year later, like, oh, I'm going to play with the Italian little rat vehicles. Messed around with the L3 till I got bored, realized it's going to take hundreds of hours probably. Maybe not, but that's at that point in time, at that skill level for sure, to get to like some of the more I don't even know what they're called, but like the APC with like the double barrel, recoilless rocket launchers on top or whatever. So like I wanted to do that. I was getting psyoped hard by YouTube to play War Thunder. And here I am perpetuating the cycle, maybe not. Any case, my other account's not too terribly interesting. And I didn't really start enjoying War Thunder until I found the 2C in the French tree, the behemoth from Battlefield 1. And I felt like that was really the first tank that behaved like a tank because, it's got 12 crew members. It can be shot many times. And, I saw something really gross, like when I was kind of just hitting adulthood. I was going to my first real job. Not the stuff I got tricked into, not the child labor I got tricked into doing, but like kind of my first real job, I was working at a mall, so I had quite a big commute from where I live. And I saw this snapping turtle on the side of the road, and it looked like a truck hit it, just a tire cave canal right through it. And you got two halves of this turtle now with like the smashed particles in between. I'm going somewhere with this, trust me. And this snapping turtle, the front half of it, it's alive, it's well, and I pulled over to look at it, and it's snapping at me. It's in a blind rage. If you know anything about snapping turtles, you can't let them touch you. There's nothing I could have done to save this thing. But I realized, like, what a tough bastard creature. That it just can't, it's too tough to die. And now it's stuck suffering. Well, that's your life with a Char 2C. Or a Char 2CB if you paid for it like I did. Because if your team ain't there to back you up, if your team ain't there to support your push or your covering fire antics, that's your fate as a Char 2C, is getting clubbed to death by 8 micro tanks. 8 M22s that are going to just gleefully take you apart, probably making edits of like a haircut or razor sound as they snip away your gun barrel one more time. But anyway, so that was my experience with War Thunder. You can kind of see that I like certain parts about it and that I dislike certain parts about it. But objectively, it's a great game. It's a simulator. If you don't like War Thunder, then you wouldn't like Gran Turismo. What you don't like about it is the realism, in my opinion. And yes, I know Gaijin goes ahistorical for balance reasons sometimes, and that's a discussion for another video. And I'm certainly not educated enough to give a take on that. I'm very much a tourist on the subject of War Thunder. But I've been playing it like on and off for 3 years. Not a veteran, though. I'm not claiming that, not claiming expertise whatsoever. But I did get an idea. Something I have been doing for a very long time is being an esoteric weirdo. And when I mean esoteric, I don't mean secret society esoteric. I mean wannabe monk esoteric, and spending, pretty much since I became an adult and a little bit before I was an adult, kind of moving my life in that direction of being a monk without a monastery. Does that make me a LARPer? I don't know. Probably to somebody who doesn't like me. But to me, it was fruitful work. In any case, when I was playing War Thunder, I realized this is an ascetic practice. This is not a game. This is not something you can shut your brain off and just eyes glaze over and play it. Now, I look for that gaming experience sometimes, and I just realized it like 2 or 3 days ago during this big storm. War Thunder is not the game for that experience. You don't play War Thunder to just shut your brain off and get like a subpar KD and then have fun with it. Maybe you do, actually. I don't know. I've been able to have fun with it, usually with a little bit of chemical assistance. But, if we're talking straight edge here, To me, this is more like a workout, a mental workout, a monastic practice, maybe even a chess game. And I'm not trying to overplay what War Thunder is here. I'm not trying to be like, yeah, I'm a real athlete because I play War Thunder. And I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm not trying to flex anything on anybody here. That's not my style. But Sekiro. I played Sekiro. Shadows Die Twice. There was this one ninja in a cave, and he was really good to grind because you could stealth kill him once, and then you just had to do a quick little battle with him. You'd kill him, and you'd get like a ton of whatever the money was. Sen. It wasn't souls. I believe it was Sen. Anyway, it was a good character to grind. I can't remember where. I haven't played the game in almost 7 years. Well, anyway, so I remember as I was kind of in a very like religious point in my life. I was like very Christian coded at that point, like Christianity only. I'm a lot more open minded now. But at that point in time, I was studying the Bible religiously, and when I needed a break from just seeing words, because whenever I closed my eyes, I saw the words of the Bible. Whenever I fell asleep, I saw the words of the Bible, and I realized it's probably not good for my brain to only see this. At least I had, I was like, this might be some kind of holy state to somebody, but I believe that God wants me to see more. Forgive me for being strange. So I was like, I should start doing ascetic practice. I got a little bit more exotic with my prayers, and one thing I started doing is I was like, I should do the things I used to do, but for God. So I started grinding in Sekiro with my mind on God. I'm not playing the game anymore. I'm thinking about getting closer to God. That's weird, but I did it. I'm not advocating for it, but I did it. And that there was value in that. But it is strange. I can accept both. Buddhism teaches that two realities, two mutually exclusive realities even, aren't necessarily mutually exclusive. Two contradictory facts can both be true. At least I believe so. Not in all cases, but you have to be open-minded enough to accept that reality. Any case, I find War Thunder, it didn't hit me until 3 days ago. And I realized, wow, like, Taoism, Chinese school of thought, it feels overly simplistic and wrong to call it a religion. It calls it overly simplistic and wrong to call it a lifestyle. Taoism can't really be described. I would say read the Tao Te Ching. Any Tao that can be described is not the Tao. That's about the best I could give you. The rest is interpretation and up to you. Good luck. But one of the best Taoist analogies I ever saw was I was reading JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, part 8. Yeah, not part 9. It's not the newest one because I had saw it in color. But it was, I don't even remember, it was King Nothing's stand user. So the Metallica reference, the dad, the long blonde haired Japanese dad that was like wearing like an autism awareness vest at all times for some reason. He was like, he has this panel, and I saved this panel, and I think about this a lot, once again, because I'm weird, where he talks about eating a parfait properly. If you can eat a parfait properly, that's life. There's a certain flow. There's a certain correct way to eat a parfait. And there's a certain way to live your life. You as an individual, not everybody. There's not a uniform way to live your life. There's a certain way to live your life as you, as yourself. And that's what they call a golden path. Now, if you follow this golden path, and you can kind of integrate and become one with this golden path. Now, all religions teach this. Sufism teaches this as like divinity. I believe even some certain sects and schools of thoughts of Taoism teach this as godhood or immortality. In any case, that's my goal in life, or at least one of them, is to attain this sort of state of perfection. It's referenced in anime regularly. Anime can't stop referencing this. Dragon Ball Z, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, whichever ones have become popular since 2017, since I stopped caring. Taoism is both allying yourself with God's plan while at the same time becoming godlike yourself and mastery over life. I want that. But how can you go with the flow while also being in resistance to the flow? If you go with the flow in War Thunder, you'll die repeatedly. Well, this is sort of the best way to understand the Tao, I would argue, is to play War Thunder. There's no way to describe it. Is it all your team? Absolutely not. It's your team and you. But what if you do everything right, but your team does everything wrong? It sounds so jagged. It sounds so deranged what I'm saying. It sounds like a madman's diary, and I'm sorry for that. But Spookston is a very popular War Thunder YouTuber, and he said that War Thunder is more psychology than anything. And that's what I'm talking about. When you get into a field, and let's say, you're in your tank, you're in a Panzer IV, and there's a T-34 on the other side of the rock, and you played the game long enough, and you know the T-34's strengths and weaknesses, and you know the Panzer IV's strengths and weaknesses, and hey, maybe he's hurt, maybe you don't know he's hurt, maybe you're a little hurt, maybe your coax turret is a little bit slow, You don't know. You're seeing him turn quick. You know, you're going to wait for your friends? Are you going to call artillery? Are you going to fight it? Are you going to fight it pointlessly? Are you going to sacrifice for the team? Are you going to throw because you're bored and this is a hopeless situation? What does your soul tell you to do? Not just your mind. Thinking logically is important, but you got to listen to that soul too, because that's you. Logic is something we can all get on board with. But the times where we must violate logic, even when we know it's not logical, but we have to do it anyway, that's us. That's me and you. That's the real you. And you learn that in War Thunder. Maybe I'm being a goofball. Maybe this is like the most cornball stuff you've ever heard in your entire life. Maybe. And if it is, well, I mean, you have your reward in full then. You're better at War Thunder than I am. And I'm not claiming to be good at War Thunder. I'm not claiming like being a Taoist sage makes me good at War Thunder. I'm saying it's a pathway to understanding the Tao because it helped me understand. So that's my new thing every day. I'm going to be getting up at 5 a.m. I never played the Chinese ground tree. I'm going to start. I'm going to max out China. I don't know about land, sea, and air. I don't want to make too big of a promise. But in kind of trying to understand the Tao and trying to understand this heightened sense of consciousness, this heightened state of consciousness, I'm going to start playing War Thunder exclusively. Well, just not exclusively China, but that's China's going to be my Tao training faction, if you will, in War Thunder. So, you know, I'll play War Thunder for funsies, but when it's like, okay, it's time to meditate, it's time to focus on the Tao, it's time to understand flow, it's time to understand the universe a bit better and my place in it, I will hop in as China, and I will try my best to kind of meditate on that state. It's an ascetic practice, after all. Play War Thunder like a monk would play War Thunder, and not like a monk who's trying to get a break from being a monk, because there's that analogy to a monk. No, I'm talking a serious monk. Remember, you're a paladin. Think, what's my place? What am I meant to do on this battlefield? Maybe you're not even meant to be there. But the game keeps calling me. I've deleted 7 accounts and I'm on account number 8. And it keeps on calling me back. So I guess I belong there in some form or another. But hey, maybe one day I'll figure it out. Just a little food for thought for you. I haven't seen anybody else post anything like this. So, you know, if you hate it, well, hey, sorry to bother you. But to everybody else, I love you very much. And even if you didn't like it, if this wasn't your cup of tea, I mean, you're my fellow man, you're my fellow human. I'm here with you, I'm on your side. But yeah, let's have a good time with YouTube again. Let's bring back the old internet. And if you want me to stay manic and keep, I mean, the more people subscribe on YouTube, this isn't like a threat or something. I'm just saying I got a very simple mind. And when I see the numbers of subscribers go up, when I see the comments go up, you keep me more in that zone of YouTube to please you guys. I'm like, you know, I'm already thinking about it probably way more than I should because I'm a loser. No, I'm kidding. I'm not. It doesn't make you a loser. But you know what I'm saying. I don't know. I love YouTube. I want to see the channel grow. How about that? That's what I'm actually trying to say. So, you know, when I say the numbers go up, like you guys are just numbers. I'm sorry. That was sad. Well, that's why we don't script. I want you to see the raw humanity of a human. You know how many takes one of the popular YouTubers would do out there? Because they're like, oh, that didn't look good. Oh, that's a bad take. Once you start editing one thing, you have to start policing every word. I don't think that's natural. Just me and you. Or me and whoever you're listening to. I like that. Let's have that. Let's admit our faults. Let's be humans. Maybe that's growth. Anyway, next video, going to be a Fallout video. And I'm going to focus on how the Fallout TV show could have avoided pissing off the Fallout New Vegas fan base. It seems like a lot of the fan base is on board with it because most of the fan base is on board with whatever the current thing is. But, you know, I'm the resistance, or at least part of it, and so are you if you agree with me. So we'll get into that next video. And yeah, I'll be there in the same outfit. I'll probably upload the last video, this video, and the next video all today. Algorithm be damned. But yeah. Before I throw in any more uhs or dots or so ons and so forths and et ceteras, I'm going to bounce. I love each and every one of you. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for watching. To me, you're all my friends. Every like brightens my day. Every comment, I love responding to it. I put tons of thought in the, you know, every comment I get to see. I don't know. I love the experience. So thank you guys for giving it to me. I'll see you next video.